So recently at the end of 2022, I switched my podcast hosting platform from Sounder FM to Captivate FM. Hey guys, my name is Angela. I am the host of the Honey and Hustle video podcast, and I'm a creator based in Durham, North Carolina. Let me just be upfront about this. This switch was not by choice. Sounder FM has decided to no longer be a podcast hosting platform and to only focus on podcast analytics, which I think for them as a company, that was really smart. They were really growing in that space. I think they just had some really good partnerships and collaborations announced with people like Acast and things like that. So hopefully that will be successful for them. But that definitely left me and anybody else using that platform kind of out in the lurch and searching for a new home for our show. So while that was great that they at least told us 3 months in advance and gave us time to find somewhere new, that also put the pressure on me to, again, search for new platforms and see what was going to be the best fit for my show. Ultimately, they did suggest some platforms for us where we would get discounts if we switched to them. And I considered those and I considered 4 others. And the top 4 that it came down to for me were Transistor FM, Captivate, Acast, and Castos. Acast was one that was recommended. I think they have a great idea when it comes to pushing your show to YouTube, but it wasn't really fully baked in the way that I would like. It was simply, doing your audio to YouTube and not an MP4 file or something like that to YouTube. So it wouldn't actually be the video part of your video podcast or my video podcast, anybody's video podcast. So I kind of was on that. They didn't have a whole lot of other standout features that I saw that I really wanted. The next one was Castos, and I have a great relationship with the people over at Castos, and theirs was kind of similar. I didn't find out till after I made my decision that they allow for you to do it vice versa, go from YouTube to Castos and have your audio straight from YouTube video and posted to Castos. So that's great. I thought they were similar to Acast in that they would only post your audio as like a stationary video to YouTube, and I really didn't want that either. So now our last 2, Transistor and Captivate. So I was already using Transistor as my website for my podcast, but I was already, even before that email came in from Sounder, I was already kind of thinking about transitioning that to my Tilda web hosting and creating a custom website for my podcast because I really wanted to grow the show and have it be more SEO friendly and be something that I could see analytics from. And of course, as if you're not already paying to host on Transistor, then you can't see the analytics from your website, which is fine, which is completely fair because the website itself is still free, but you're not getting that rich analytics even then. So while I think Transistor was great, it didn't have a whole lot of website functionality, so that wasn't necessarily a plus when I was considering moving to their platform. And when you look at Transistor and Captivate side by side, Captivate has a higher allowance for monthly downloads per show or altogether. So you can host multiple shows, but they have a higher allowance for multiple podcast downloads for all of your shows combined than Transistor. So ultimately, that was kind of the deciding factor for me, was like, 1, where can I host multiple shows? Where can I host a private podcast? And then, of course, last, where can I get the most bang for my buck wherever I do host? So I was willing to pay a little bit extra to have deeper analytics and greater access to using those analytics to pitch to sponsors, which I think is something that we're going to see more of here in 2023 on the show. If you want to sponsor an episode of Honey and Hustle, reach out to me, let me know. But yeah, so I think that was kind of how I ended up on Captivate, and I've been pretty happy ever since. Their customer support is super responsive. Their platform is very intuitive, very easy to use, and can't speak more highly about it. I'm glad that the switch happened. I'm glad that we landed in a good space. And if you are looking, I highly recommend Captivate FM for your new podcast hosting platform. So that's it for me. Comment down below where you're hosting your podcast at. And if you're considering switching, what things are important to you. Hope that you got some value out of this, and stay tuned for our next video. See you later.